Hello and welcome. You're watching Trending Tech on NewsX World, where we bring you the latest tech breakthroughs, trends and gadgets from around the world. Now today we're talking about smart home technology, which is rapidly transforming the way we live. Houses, apartments and entire communities are now powered by internet-connected devices designed to make daily life easier, faster and more efficient. From smart speakers and doorbells to thermostats, lighting and security systems, the modern home is becoming deeply integrated with big tech ecosystems, powered by constant data collection and AI-driven automation. These devices can learn our routines, monitor our habits, and respond in real time. Adoption is surging, industry investment is expanding, and consumers are embracing a more connected lifestyle. However, this smart technology comes with significant privacy, security, and surveillance risks. Now, to talk about this, joining us is Dikshu C. Kukreja, who is the managing principal of CP Kukreja Architects, a firm ranked among the top 100 architecture and planning firms in the world and top 5 in Asia. He is also the Honorary Consul General of the Republic of Albania to India. He is a renowned architect, urban planner and environmentalist. Thank you for joining us here at NewsX World, Mr. Kukreja. Now I'll just want to start with my first question to you. Smart homes are promising convenience, but what is the biggest hidden risk that people don't realize when they connect everyday devices to the internet?
Well, thank you for having me on this show, and I think it's a very pertinent subject as the world immerses itself deeper and deeper into the digital world, and things are getting more virtual. Even our conversation right now is not a physical one, but it's virtual. So yes, that's the way the world is moving towards. And with any new technology, if we go back in history over centuries, when we see the world changing, new technologies coming in, with that come their own risks and concerns. And I think it's a similar situation when it comes to smart homes technology. And now, if we look at it, of course, there are lots of advantages of it because you are able to remotely control many, many aspects of your home, which otherwise could have gone unnoticed. Here, you have everything on your phone, whether you are in your home or you are outside, you can see exactly what's happening. But I would just say that overall, without getting into the details of it right away, I would just say that, with every technology, the security risks are always there. And therefore, it's important that we embrace that technology prudently. We ensure that there are enough checks and balances as much as possible that have been explored before we just go ahead and blindly, for example, share your own the password with anyone, share the pass key with anyone. These kind of things are important to control where you are storing that digital control or security measures or passwords becomes extremely important to begin with.
And how do smart home devices actually collect about us information, and who has access to that data?
I think that will probably be answered better by some of the tech giants sitting probably in Silicon Valley or even our own Silicon Valley in Bangalore, that this data, and it's a question which is really not having very clear answers with anyone for that matter, except the companies that I mentioned. The fact that when this data is getting collected, how much of it is actually private, has the privacy controls on it, and how much is actually then going further and then being redirected into some other systems or resources or possible methodologies by which it can be used for marketing and branding, etc. So those aspects, still the questions remain unanswered. But I think as long as the right encryption works, we have some sort of a safety mechanism out there. but really it's something that will remain a concern till there is more transparency about how, and laws for that matter, cyber laws, of ensuring that the providers of this technology are not actually impeding into our privacy.
All right, Mr. Kukreja, now let's talk about smart home ecosystems that are dominated now by companies like Amazon, Google, and Apple. Should we be concerned about how much control they have over the devices inside our homes?
Well, yes and no, but I would say more yes than no, because while on the one hand, we cannot really live in today's world completely cut off from these kind of technologies which are all pervasive. So from that point of view, I think we need to be a little more open-minded about it. But having said that, yes, it remains a security concern. It remains a concern because these are constantly evolving, these technologies. And while there are certain laws that you hear of coming into play, however, I think the laws themselves have to catch up with the way they can be amended, the way they can be misrepresented or misused. And that is something we are seeing the world over, whether it has to do with digital frauds, digital arrests, or it has to do with even the fact that people are able to hack into systems of home security or smart homes, and that remains a concern. And therefore, it's very important that the laws are framed in that manner. The laws are constantly upgraded to match whatever technological breaches that are taking place. And then there is also a system of monitoring these. You can have laws made, but if they are not strongly implemented, then we are replicating what we see many times in the physical world, the problems with laws and lawbreakers. So therefore, same way in the cyber world, it's equally important that while these technologies bring in convenience, they bring into our homes, these smart technologies bring in sustainable measures. They save on energy, they save on water, they save on many other aspects that otherwise are environmentally degrading. So from that point of view, they are certainly a plus, but they also have security concerns which need to be addressed.
For sure. And devices like smart speakers and doorbells that are always listening or recording. As an architect, what can you tell that beyond the obvious security risk of hacking, what are the most concerning ways that manufacturers or third parties could misuse potentially the vast amount of data that's gathered inside?
Well, I think they can be very creative in the way they wish to misuse the data. The fact remains that are they permitted to actually collect that data and collect it without, as I said, encrypted data, which means that the data might be there, but they are not able to get their hands onto it for using it for any other purpose than it's meant to be. So that remains a prime concern. And I think that's the way we must make sure that these solution providers, technology providers, are following the law when it comes to collection of that data. And also we need to start filtering that how much data is actually relevant for them to keep and where is it being stored. For example, if one has basic CCTV cameras in their homes, you have the DVR device, you have the entire system planted within your home. Why should that actually data be transferred to the system provider? It should remain within the physical confines of your data storage system, which is within your house or could be in another location that you own, but it should not go to the data provider. So similarly, whether it comes to speakers, like you said, other devices that are coming in, we have to make sure that we are not just swept with this technological frenzy that, we don't bother about where that data is actually going to. So therefore, what you're discussing today is of prime concern, and I think it still needs to be addressed. It's in a nascent stage, and there aren't that kind of systems, I would say, or checks and balances in place, which would allow me to say today that, you know what, this data is 100% safe, and the users don't have to worry about it at all. That's not reality at the moment.
I'm sure. And what would you say? How close are we to a reality where a conversation near a smart device leads instantly to an ad appearing on related topics on it?
I think as we speak, that's already happening with many of us. It's something that I personally have noticed, that you could be mentioning someone's name in a conversation, and then suddenly you see that that name has popped up on your phone as a friend request or in some other manner. So I think there's a deeper secret to this, that how technology is working, whose ears are pricked when we are having these gadgets around us, and who's listening to us. It's beyond my understanding at the moment that how these systems are actually working. But having said that, I would say that what I said at the beginning, that the right balance has to be there. The ethos of cultural values, the ethos of human and social values that we have possessed for centuries, which means when you are in the privacy of your home, which is meant to be a shelter, you are sheltered from the world in every which way, not just the wind, floods, and other and nature's occurrences, but also by this technology. You are able to only utilize the technology, harness it to your benefit. It should not start working the other way around, where we become prey to the technology. And currently, I think we all stand at the cusp of where technology is controlling us, or beginning to control us more and more than it should, is probably the situation at the moment. So that's why I keep repeating that unless corrective measures are implemented immediately, unless the right checks and balances are implemented immediately, we can run into situations where we are having digital, we become digital preys. And at that point, our very own homes become places of high security risk, where we are not actually sheltered against the world outside.
In
So
fact,
that
yeah.
concern is something which is very real at the moment. And we keep reading about it in the press, more and more such instances happening all the time.
That, in fact, brings me to my next question, which is that what do you think are the most common entry points for hackers into a residential smart network, and what steps can consumers take to truly, quarantine vulnerable devices?
So I would say that any interface which involves any kind of smart system or smart technology that we are bringing into our home can do that. So it can be right from simple things like CCTV cameras to the other gadgets which are plugged into our smartphones, whether it is the temperature control systems, whether it is the lighting control systems, or any other, because the way these kind of digital sort of crimes take place is that it is all being hacked from one system, transferred to another, which is beyond control of you and me, and then it can be misused in any which way by the predator sitting out there. So it's not a direct situation where, let's say, if we have a CCTV camera, that means our visual images or video images are being misused. It could be a link of visual images which go into voiceover and are misused from there as well. So, therefore, the world of digital crime is vast, unexplored, and constantly evolving. We just need to make sure that we are controlling it as we go along with this technology, and we don't get swept away just by the technological advancements without realizing the pitfalls that come along with it, or the dangers that come along with it.
Okay, so stemming from this, my final question to you, Mr. Kukreja, what steps can homeowners take to protect themselves without giving up smart home convenience?
That's a good question, and I would say a couple of very simple, common sense things, which means one, whatever are extremely sensitive areas of your home, it could be places like where maybe you have your treasures, as in your jewelry, your cash, or any other very valuable items. should not be something which are easily visible or are visible at all on the CCTV cameras. Similarly, anything that has to do with, let's say, your phone which is there, which has controls, your smartphone has the control to many features of your smart home, then you need to make sure that you have incorporated the security passwords and passkeys into your smartphone, so that if that was to get misplaced or hacked, people are not able to enter into your home digitally from any source. So aspects like this need to be kept in mind. Also, I would say that while we are embracing this technology, and I, for one, years ago have been a proponent of smart homes, I think today we need to also make sure that we are not unnecessarily getting swept with the romance of this smart technology and restricting ourselves to simply using things that are of convenience to us rather than just using incorporating things which are something which we are not even going to use in our home on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So we'd leave it at that for now. Thank you, Mr. Kukreja, for speaking to us here at Trending Tech. We do appreciate you giving us your time and joining us this afternoon. And with that, viewers, it's a wrap on this episode of the Trending Tech. But stay tuned for more tech updates and innovations to NewsX World.